Hey EMbers, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new playthrough. So this playthrough is the Pokemon Rabbit playthrough in Gen 1. We're going to be using Pokemon Yellow. Now before we start, I have done a PowerPoint presentation for you because you are going to be wondering how on earth is this possible. So there are not many Pokemon who classify as rabbits and technically none in Generation 1, so I will be stretching the classifications. To make this challenge even possible, I might have to base some of it purely on looks. Now, why am I even doing this in the first place? Well, I just love Pokemon and I love rabbits. I'm not the best Pokemon player in the world, but I just wanted to see if this was possible. It's probably not, but let's just see how we get on. So, there are 151 total Pokemon in Gen 1. Based on my classifications, I can only catch 6 in the entire game, so this is going to be incredibly difficult. I haven't played Yellow since I was a child, so please bear with me. We'll see how this goes. So the first Pokemon I am going to be using for this challenge is, of course, our starter Pikachu. While most people classify Pikachu as a mouse type, the graphic artist revealed that it was actually a squirrel that inspired its design, neither of which are a rabbit. However, I believe the design to look somewhat rabbit-like, as did many fans when they first saw Pikachu. Some also link it to the Pika, which is an animal closely related to the rabbit. It's a stretch, but one I need to make in order to do this playthrough in the first place, so please allow it. So where to find? Of course, this is our starter, so we will have him from the start. Moving on to our second and third Pokemon, we have Nidoran, or Nidoran, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, the male and the female version. So most people believe their design is based on rabbits. However, I believe the evolutions changed the design too much to call them rabbits. They get more rhino-like as they go along. So even though this will be a huge challenge, I'm not allowed to evolve them. So I can have a male and a female Nidoran, but they have to stay at their first evolution. Without an Everstone in this game, that's going to be a little bit annoying, but we'll see how we get on. So, Nidoran can be found on Route 2 in Yellow, making this potentially our first Pokemon we can catch. Moving on to our fourth Pokemon we can use, we have Clefairy. This is definitely a stretch, so it has rabbit-like ears and a buck tooth, just go with it. It's also found on Mount Moon, which could link it with the Moon Rabbit, which is a mythological creature. I told you these classifications are absolutely stretching it, but I just really wanted to do this, so again, please indulge me. So as I've just said, we can find this Pokemon on Mount Moon. Now moving on to our fifth Pokemon, we have Jigglypuff, or more accurately, Wigglytuff. So again, its evolution, Wigglytuff has rabbit-like features, and according to some online research I did, Jigglypuff is around the size of a European rabbit. That is literally all I've got, so just go with it. So we can find Jigglypuff on routes 5 to 8, and of course we are trying to aim to get him to Wigglytuff as soon as possible. And finally, for our last Pokemon we can use in this challenge, of course, Eevee. So Eevee's character design was based on many real-life animals, including rabbits. In-game, Eevee has an unstable genetic code, so if Eevees were real, it's plausible that they could be a mix of a fox, cat, dog, and a rabbit. The evolutions get tricky, as if things already weren't. Eevee only has 3 evolutions in Gen 1, which is Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. For the purposes of this playthrough, based on looks alone, I will be allowed to evolve to a Jolteon or a Flareon. I don't think Vaporeon is close enough. However, we will probably go for a Jolteon, as we already have Thunder covered with Pikachu. Now, while Jolteon will be great for this challenge, there is only one Eevee in the entire game, and you get it fairly late game. So you have to go to the Pokemon Mansion in Celadon City. So while, like I say, Jolteon will be good for this, we don't get Jolteon for a while. So are we going to manage to get there to get the Jolteon? We'll have to wait and see. So with that said, in short, don't think too much about it. It's going to be great, we're going to have some fun. I'm absolutely going to fail this challenge. So yes, just a bit of fun. Like I say, technically no Pokemon that are rabbits, so I have stretched the classifications somewhat, but with all that waffle out of the way, let's start playing Pokemon Yellow. So here we go, Pokemon Yellow. I haven't played this since I was a child. I'm not the best Pokemon player in the world. I haven't played that many games, but I do enjoy them. So here we are. Hello there, welcome to the long gap here. What am I doing? World of Pokemon. My name is Oak. People call me the Pokemon Professor. This world is inhabited by creatures called Pokemon. For some people, Pokemon are pets, others use them for fights. Myself, I study Pokemon as a profession. First, what is your name? Now, I decided to go for Ash here, even though our protagonist is technically yellow or red. I do get confused with that, but I did go for Ash. This is my grandson. He's been your rival since you were a baby. What is his name again? You forgot your own grandson's name. And again, I went for Gary here as well, even though I know it's technically not Gary. That's right, I remember now, his name is Gary. Ash, your very own Pokemon legend is about to unfold. Well, I don't know about a legend. A world of dreams and adventures with Pokemon awaits. Let's go. So here we are, we're about to start our adventure. Like I say, I am not the greatest player in the world. This is quite a slow start, of course, as I'm getting used to playing yellow again. Now you must remember to withdraw your potion here. But like I say, if you are looking for an expert, it is not me. You don't need to be here. This is just a bit of a silly little playthrough that I thought of on the cuff and off the cuff and decided I wanted to go ahead and play it. And like I say, just don't think about it too much. But I have given myself one heck of a task. If you know Pokemon, you know. I'm not sure this is even possible, so let's carry on and see. So we are of course in Pallet Town. Let's say hello to our mum. Right, all boys leave home someday. It said so on TV. Professor Oak next door is looking for you. If you know that from the TV, mum, I think you've got a bit more work to do. So we're going to have a little look around Pallet Town. I'm raising Pokemon too. When they get strong, they can protect me. Aww. So this is of course our house. Pallet Town is very tiny. There's about 3 people in it. Pallet Town, shades of your journey await. Technology is incredible. Well, ish and ish. You can now store and recall items and Pokemon as data via PC. So you will note there's some water there as well. Well, water Pokemon aren't going to be very handy for us. Not for this playthrough anyway. So this here is Gary's house. Let's pop in. And I will tell you that a mistake is made here later on. Hi Ash, Gary is out at Grandpa's lab. So you'll have to wait actually till episode 2 to see what I did. You'll probably see it in this episode. It's a big map. This is useful. Isn't it just? Isn't it useful to have a map? Guess what we forget to do in this episode? Again, if you've played Pokemon, you know what we forgot to do. So this is going out into the wild, but of course we want to go to Professor Oak's lab first. So in we go. I study Pokemon as Professor Oak's aide. Professor Oak is the authority on Pokemon. Many Pokemon trainers hold him in high regard. I study Pokemon as Professor Oak's aide. Oh, so there's a couple of you. Are you twins? So let's have a look around. We snoop on Professor Oak's PC. There's an email message here. We probably shouldn't be looking at this. Calling all Pokemon trainers. The elite trainers of Pokemon League are ready to take on all comers. Bring your best Pokemon and see how you rate as a trainer. Well, I'll tell you what, Pokemon League HQ, if we can get to the Pokemon League, I will be absolutely astounded. I haven't really said, but that is of course the aim of this playthrough, to finish the game basically. I don't know if I'll be doing any post-game content. And let's be honest, are we even going to get to the Elite Four? So Gary has told us Grandpa isn't here. Well, his grandpa rather. So let's head out into the wild. Oh, we're just checking our stuff. So we have Pokemon, item, Ash, save, option and exit. So we currently have 1 potion. Let's head out into the wild. But wait. Professor Oak says, hey, wait, don't go out. That was close. Wild Pokemon live in tall grass. And who's this? It's Pikachu! A wild Pikachu appeared. So we have no control here. Professor Oak is, of course, doing this for us. You'll have to let me know in the comments box below if you have actually played Pokemon Yellow, or if you've played any Pokemon games at all. Whew! A Pokemon can appear any time in tall grass. You need your own Pokemon for your protection. I know. Here, come with me. So again, I have no control of the game at this point. Gramps, I'm fed up with waiting. Gary, why are you here already? I said for you to come by later. Oh, whatever, just wait there. Look, Ash, do you see that ball on the table? It's called a Pokeball. It holds a Pokemon inside. You may have it. Go on, take it. Hey, Gramps, what about me? Be patient, Gary. I'll give you one later. Basically, shut up, Gary. So, we go to grab our Pokemon and Gary is not having none of it. No way, Ash. I want this Pokemon. Gary has snatched the Pokemon. Gary, what are you doing? Gramps, I want this one. But Oh, alright then. That Pokemon is yours. I was going to give you one anyway. Ash, come over here. Ash, this is the Pokemon I caught earlier. So with that, we have our first Pokemon of this playthrough, and it is, of course, Pikachu. Do you want to give it a nickname to Pikachu? Yes, I will give Pikachu a nickname. And because I am very, very generic, I just called our Pikachu Pika. Because every time you pull out Pikachu in this game, it goes Pika, as you'll hear. You've probably already heard that, actually. So we have called our Pikachu Pika because we are, you know, just that good. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, that does lean into the rabbit connection as well. If a wild Pokemon appears, your Pokemon can fight against it. Afterward, go on to the next town. Heh, my Pokemon looks a lot stronger. I know, I want your Pokemon. Wait, Ash, let's check out our Pokemon. Come on, I'll take you on. So Gary, of course, has... Let's see. Gary wants to fight. What does Gary have? Gary has Eevee, of course. I remember when I was a child, I was so upset because I really wanted Eevee. So we use Thundershock. And this shows us just how big of a battle we have ahead. Now you will recall, as we are doing this, what the first gym is, right? So if you know Pokemon, you know that the first gym is Brock, who has Rock-type Pokemon. What can't Pikachu fight? Pikachu can't fight Rock-type Pokemon. So can we even get past the first gym on this challenge? Well, you're going to have to keep watching to find out. But that is a serious consideration, considering how much damage we're doing to Eevee on our first ever battle. So Thundershock is really our only good move here. And at this point, I'm worried that I can even do this. Because we can't even do that much of Eevee. And she gets us down to 2 health, the first battle. So I'm panicking already. But with that, we did win our very first battle and grew to level 6. And we learnt Tail Whip, which, you know, it is what it is. What? Unbelievable. I picked the wrong Pokemon. Well, I'll take Eevee if you don't want to, babe. Okay, I'll make my Pokemon fight to toughen it up. Ash, Gramps, smell you later. Off you go. What? Would you look at that? It's odd, but it appears that your Pikachu dislikes Pokeballs. You should just keep it with you. That should make it happy. You can talk to it and see how it feels about you. So we now have our Pikachu following us, which is really cute. I think he's a cute mechanic. But he doesn't look happy, does he? So with that, we are heading out. And we're going to go straight to Mum's house, I think. We're ignoring Gary's house. Should we be doing this? Absolutely not, but we're ignoring Gary's house. And with that, we go and speak to Mum to get a bit of a rest. Ash, if you drive your Pokemon too hard, they'll dislike you. You should take a rest. That's why we're here. Oh good, you and your Pokemon are looking great. Take care now. Bye, Ma'am. She's just going to let us go off into the big wide world. And with that, we are just checking our Pokemon. So there is Pika. His stats are, well, there's something. And off we go. So I believe the first city is Viridian City. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we're off. Let's see how well we do. Route 1, Pallet Town, Viridian City, yes. So here's our first wild battle. And it is a Pidgey. Now, one of the things that I do forget a lot is the different typings, what is strong against what is weak against what. So yes, mistakes are definitely made in this playthrough, 100%. Luckily for us, we are strong against Pidgey. But again, I couldn't remember if we were strong because he is a normal or a flying. I just couldn't remember. So the one thing I do forget a lot is the typings, which comes back to bite us, believe me it does. So we have our second battle, and if you've played Pokemon Yellow, or indeed any of the earlier Pokemon games, there's a lot of fighting. I'm not going to keep it all in, I don't think, because this happens every 2 steps, quite frankly. So I'm not going to keep it all in. But for the first episode, I do, just so we can get used to it together. But again, if you're expecting brilliance, an expert Pokemon player, then you've come to the wrong place, quite frankly. But in this household, we have started collecting Pokemon cards. So me and my husband both had Pokemon cards when we were younger. And as adults, we've decided to collect Pokemon cards again. And my rabbit obsession has got to the point where I am doing a rabbit Pokedex. So this is where you get a second potion, a free potion. But yes, I'll probably have to show it at one point on this channel, but I am collecting sort of rabbit-only cards-ish. Now you see, future gens have more rabbit-based Pokemons than Gen 1. So we go to talk to this guy and we end up in another battle. I bet this music haunts everybody who played the earlier Pokemons. So also in terms of games, while we are doing this, I'm just going to talk over it. I have played Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, one of X or Y, I can't remember which one, and Pokemon Moon. So that's really all I've done, and I played a bit of Yellow when I was a child. So I haven't played any of the newer games. I am very behind on Pokemon. So I've said it a few times, but again, please bear with me. I am doing my best. This is a silly challenge to begin with, let's be honest. But we're doing it now. I should also quickly tell you the schedules for these episodes, but we have made it to Viridian City. So at the moment, we have a couple of playthroughs going on, so this will be every second Wednesday. So we're just going around to look for items. Now I know in some Pokemon games there are hidden items. I couldn't remember at this point if there were any hidden items or not, so that's what I'm doing. Again, we have somewhere we can fish there eventually. That's not exactly going to be useful for us. And this is, of course, where our first gym is. Wait, is the gym in Viridian City? I think it is, yeah. So we're at our first Poke Centre. There's a Pokemon Centre in every town ahead. They don't charge any money either. Welcome to our Pokemon Centre. We heal your Pokemon back to perfect health. Shall we heal your Pokemon? Yes. And this is Nurse Joy, I believe. Okay, we'll need your Pokemon. And Pikachu does go back in the ball to get healed. And she has, correct me if I'm wrong, a Jigglypuff next to her. We do need one of those for our challenge. You can use that PC in the corner, the receptionist told me. So kind. So I've done a bit of a jump cut there because I was just messing about with the PC. And you don't really need to see that. So we are moving on. Again, I don't want these episodes to be too long, so I may skip some bits out. Those Pokeballs at your waist. You have Pokemon. It's great that you can carry and use Pokemon anytime, anywhere. So, down that route on the left is where we can potentially get our first Pokemon, Viridian City, the eternally green paradise. So, we're going to talk to this person. No, we're not. Yes, we are. You want to know about the 2 kinds of caterpillar Pokemon? Go on then. Caterpie has no poison, but Weedle does. Watch out for its poison sting. Well, we won't be getting either of those, I'm afraid. And into the Pokemart we go. Hey, you came from Pallet Town. You know Professor Oak, right? His order came in. Will you take it to him? Ash got Oak's parcel. So we have to go all the way back to Pallet Town. This shop sells a lot of Paralyze heals. I think we're going to be needing those, yes. The shop finally has some potions in stock. Well, we're going to need lots of them as well. And again, some mistakes were made with items during this playthrough as well, because I could not remember what some of the items did. And Yellow really doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't give you descriptions of anything. So I accidentally clicked this a few more times. I'm going to nip into this house. And it looks like this is a school. Oh, I'm trying to memorise all my notes. Sis says Pokemon will become tame if you treat them nicely. Okay, be sure to read the blackboard carefully. Now this bit you might want to skip if you are familiar with the game, but we do go ahead and read the blackboard, and this is where it tells you the weaknesses, status changes, etc. So we have sleep, not weaknesses, sorry, this tells you about sleep, poison, paralysis, burn, and what's FRZ? My brain has blanked? Frozen, freeze. So if you already know what all of these do, then this is a bit boring, isn't it? So with that, we've been to school, looked at the notebook, first page. Pokeballs are used to catch Pokemon, so this is all very simple things that you should already know. At least I know these bits. And again, this first episode is a little bit slower, of course, because it's a lot of introduction stuff, tutorial stuff. I'm aiming to not have these episodes too long, around half an hour each. And we did have my lovely PowerPoint in the beginning, so that's why this is a little bit longer. But I know with a very old game like this, I do struggle watching the graphics sometimes. I struggle to play it. So I wanted to keep these episodes fairly short, because I don't know how long or how interested you would be in watching something like this. So we can't go through here because it's private property. I don't know what Grandad's doing on the floor. Oh, Grandpa, don't be so mean. He hasn't had his coffee yet. Well, I can tell because it looks like he's laying on the floor. So we're going to pop in someone else's house. We're just going through people's houses. And they have a Speary. Coming up with nicknames is fun but hard. Yeah, I tell you what, it is. I'm currently playing Harvest Moon at Back to Nature on this channel as well, and the names for my animals are so generic you wouldn't believe. I am not very good with nicknames at all. So up there is the Pokemon Gym, I believe, which we cannot access yet. Leaving us no choice but to go back to Professor Oak. But what's this? I'm going to the left. We've already spoke to him. Why am I going to the left? Well, this is the first mistake of the playthrough. It certainly won't be the last. But we're just heading around here. And of course you need cut for that. But we did find a potion. So there is secret items, which is good to know. So let's go for mistake number 1. For some reason my brain completely blanks out that we do not have... Oh, we're just going over here. See if there's anything we can spot. This is quite a long walk, as you can see. So, time for the long walk back. Probably talking to that guy who said I had Pokeballs, my brain completely forgot I do not in fact have Pokeballs, and I need to go back to Pallet Town. So we find the first Pokemon that we can catch, which is a Nidoran, the female version. And what do I have to do? I have to kill her because, or, you know, knock her out, because I don't have Pokeballs. What an idiot. So we could have had that Nidoran, but I forgot I didn't have Pokeballs, so I have to knock her out. I'm an absolute moron. But at least we know we can find Nidoran here for when we do have Pokeballs. So are we going to catch one this episode? We'll just have to wait and find out. But at least we got some XP, eh? So with that, I think we're going to head back to Pallet Town. And like I say, in future episodes, I may cut these walking bits out because this is a large portion of the game. You'll have to let me know exactly what you want to see and what you don't. But at least we can use the shortcut, which is absolutely fantastic. We perhaps shouldn't be using the shortcut actually, because we do want to level up our Pikachu. But for the sake of convenience, we do go with the shortcut, and we end up in a fight anyway. So who's this? Either a Pidgey or a Rattata? It's a Rattata. So let's head back to Professor Oak, and guess what we should be doing while we're here? We should be going to Gary's house, shouldn't we? Why should we be going to Gary's house? Again, if you've played this game, you know why we should be going to Gary's house. Do we? No. Oh Ash, how is my old Pokemon? Well, it seems to like you a lot. You must be talented as a Pokemon trainer. What? You have something for me? Talented, I mean, questionable. Ah, this is the custom Pokeball I ordered. Thanks, Ash. By the way, I must ask you to do something for me. Gramps? Gramps, my Pokemon has grown stronger. Check it out. Ah, Gary, good timing. I needed to ask both of you to do something for me. On the desk there is my invention, Pokédex. It automatically records data on Pokemon you've seen or caught. It's a high-tech encyclopedia. Ash and Gary, take these with you. Ash got a Pokédex. And we now have the ability to get Pokemon in Pokeballs now. But I'm old, I can't do it, so I want you two to fulfill my dream for me. Get moving, you two. This is a great undertaking in Pokemon history. Alright, Gramps, leave it all to me. Ash, I hate to say it, but I don't need you. I know, I'll borrow a town map from my sister. I'll tell her not to lend you one, Ash. So, Gary has borrowed a town map from his sister, the only place in the whole game you can get a town map. Did I go to Gary's house and get a town map from his sister? Oh, am I gonna? Did I heck? I went back to Viridian City. So that is something that we are going to have to rectify in the future, that I'm going to have to rectify in the future. I forgot to get the blooming town map. So, episode 1, and we've already got 2 mistakes on the go. Let's just see how this goes, eh? And because that Wally was in my way, I've got another battle. But it's all levelling up Pikachu, so it's all good. Although levelling up Pikachu is kind of moot at this point because we can't use him for the first gym. But he has grown to level 7. Do we learn anything new? Not this time. So we're waiting for him to move, and he just does not want to move, so we walk around him. I have no idea what's happening there. And of course we do get into a few more battles on the way. Again, I'm not going to keep all of these in for every part, it would be far too long, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And another one, I swear this sound haunts me. But with that, we are back in Viridian City. So we're heading straight to the Pokemart, I think. No, we're going into the Poke Centre. Pikachu doesn't need healing up, but we do it anyway. It's sort of a habit to do this every time I go past, really, even if it's not necessary. So with that, we're going to head to the Pokemart, I believe, and hopefully grab some Pokeballs. So I don't know how many different types of Pokeballs are available in Pokemon Yellow, I'm not sure. But we have 3,175. I don't know what the currency is in Pokemon. And we have, I believe, 3 potions, yeah. So with that, we decide to grab 5 Pokeballs? 6 Pokeballs? 6. So we spend quite a bit of money there, 1,200. We grab 5 antidotes for 500. Again, spending a lot of our money here. And that's all we get for now. No, is it? Yep, no. Yep, that's all we get. So with that, let's go out and try and catch a Nidoran. There are dogs barking quite loud outside, so I apologise if you can hear that in the background. Ambience in it. So let's have a look around for a Nidoran, because we know they're here, as we knocked one out earlier. So who's this? It is our first male Nidoran that we have seen. So without any further ado, I think we just throw we're debating whether to fight it, but it's only level 2. So I think we go ahead and throw a Pokeball at it straight away. We do have 6. So, you're going to get in the ball? No, unfortunately not. So as you know, it is better to have a Pokemon down in the red if possible to get it in a Pokeball, but as it's only level 2, I would knock it out in a Wanner, I think, so. Our second time did not work, but I'm too scared to hit it. So, third time's the charm. Hey, and with that we have caught our first Pokemon in the wild and our second Pokemon of this challenge. Don't forget, we can only catch 6. But I didn't specify how many we can catch, so I suppose we could catch 20 Nidorans if we want. It would be a bit pointless, but I'm not going to. This isn't a Nuzlocke or anything like that, by the way. I should have made that perfectly clear at the beginning. So we call this Nidoran... What do we call it? I'm having a think, aren't I? So I've cut some out because it was taking me ages to think of a name, but we do end up calling it Stripe. Bit of a Gremlins reference there. So we are going to go ahead and look for the female Nidoran, I think. But our time is running out. Like I say, I only want these to be around half an hour. We do get another male Nidoran, but we don't need one right now. This episode, like I say, is a little bit longer because of the beginning. So we do end up fighting this one. We probably should have used our Nidoran. Again, there's no such thing as XP share in Pokemon Yellow, so this is very, very difficult. So we are still looking for a female Nidoran. But with that, are we going to head out? No, we're going back in. And do we get it? No, this is a Mankey, which would have been nice to catch in a normal gameplay, of course, in a normal game, but we can't. So this Mankey does put up a good fight. And with that, we're going to leave the grass. I always end up jumping over those accidentally. It's a pain. We're going to head to the Poke Centre to heal up our Pikachu and our Nidoran. Well, our Nidoran doesn't really need healing, does it? So just our Pikachu. So let's go ahead and heal up Pikachu. And with that, we are going to wrap up our first episode, so thank you very much for watching. Like I say, it's just a bit of fun, please don't take it too seriously. I don't seriously think that I'm going to beat the game. I don't think I'm going to beat this challenge, I really don't. But we're going to just keep it going for as long as we can and see what happens. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye EMbers!